Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the quantum processing array, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing blue light of the containment field. The breakthrough had come at 3:47 a.m., when most of Singapore's Quantum Research Institute slept. But sleep was a distant memory now, replaced by the thrill of discovery and a growing sense of unease. The quantum processor before her wasn't just faster than traditional computers, it had achieved something previously thought impossible. It had maintained quantum coherence at room temperature for over 72 hours and showed no signs of degradation. "Run the verification sequence again," she instructed the lab's AI, her voice steady despite her racing heart. As the diagnostics began, Sarah's tablet chimed with an urgent message. Her eye caught the sender's name: Dr. James Morrison, head of Earth's Special Sciences Division. "Turn on the news," was all it said. The laboratory's main screen flickered to life, showing what appeared to be a massive ship entering Earth's atmosphere. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, defying conventional aerodynamics. The news anchor's voice trembled slightly as she reported that similar ships had appeared over every major city on Earth. Sarah's first thought wasn't of invasion or fear, it was of her quantum processor. Somehow, she knew the two events were connected. The ship's arrival marked humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Federation, though not in the way anyone had expected. Instead of the traditional diplomatic channels, they had come directly to Earth's quantum research facilities. Their message was clear: Earth's recent technological advancement had caught their attention. Within hours, Sarah found herself face-to-face with the Federation's Scientific Council. The aliens varied in form, some humanoid, others defying easy description, but all shared the same expression of barely concealed alarm when they examined her quantum processor. "Impossible," declared a being composed of shifting crystalline structures. "Your species has barely mastered spaceflight. This level of quantum manipulation should be beyond your capabilities for at least another century." Sarah straightened her lab coat, a habit from countless academic presentations. "The principles are actually quite straightforward once you understand the role of environmental decoherence in quantum systems. We simply found a way to." "We must discuss this in private," interrupted another council member, this one appearing as a swirling mass of bioluminescent gases. As the council members conferred in their own language, Sarah noticed something odd about their behavior. Their concern seemed less about the technology itself and more about its implications. She caught fragments of their conversation through her universal translator. Phrases like market stability and technological paradigm that seemed out of place in a purely scientific discussion. The crystalline being turned back to her. "Dr. Chen, the Federation has protocols for the development of quantum technologies. Your work, while impressive, must be properly integrated into existing systems." Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with the laboratory's temperature. "Integrated? Yes. For the greater good of galactic stability. We will provide you with the proper guidelines for future research. Of course, your current prototype will need to be decommissioned." The tension in the room crystallized into something tangible. Sarah glanced at her life's work, pulsing quietly in its containment field. She thought of all the potential applications: medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration, solving humanity's energy crisis. And if we decline? The council members exchanged looks. That would be unfortunate. Unregulated quantum technology poses risks to established galactic systems. Surely you understand the need for proper oversight. Before Sarah could respond, her tablet chimed again. This time, it was a message from the newly formed Earth Defense Council. "Stall them. Help is coming." Sarah took a deep breath, remembering all the late nights, the failed experiments, the moments of doubt and breakthrough. She hadn't come this far to have her work suppressed by beings who seemed more concerned with control than progress. "Perhaps," she said carefully, "we should discuss the broader implications of quantum technology democratization. I have some interesting data on its potential benefits for developing civilizations." The council members shifted uncomfortably, clearly unprepared for resistance. As Sarah launched into a detailed technical presentation, she noticed movement in the facility's security feeds. Earth's diplomatic corps was mobilizing, led by a man whose reputation would soon shake the very foundations of galactic politics. Marcus Reed walked through the corridors of the United Earth Embassy in Geneva, holographic displays flickering with real-time updates from around the globe. At 43, he had earned a reputation as Earth's most unconventional diplomat, someone who saw patterns in chaos and opportunities in crisis. Today, he was about to prove why. The Federation's Scientific Council is still at the Singapore facility, his AI assistant reported through his neural link. They've been there for 6 hours, sir. Marcus smiled slightly. And Dr. Chen? Still giving her presentation on quantum harmonics. She's on her 14th theoretical application. The aliens look uncomfortable. Perfect. Sarah Chen hadn't been chosen by accident. Her ability to explain complex quantum mechanics in excruciating detail was legendary in academic circles. She was buying them the time they needed. Marcus entered the embassy's secure conference room, where holographic representations of Earth's leadership awaited. Military commanders, political leaders, and scientific advisors from every major nation stood around a three-dimensional projection of the Federation ships still hovering over Earth's cities. "What's your assessment?" General Zhang asked without preamble. Marcus gestured, and the room's AI displayed his findings. The Federation isn't here to share technology or welcome us to the galactic community. They're here to contain us. He pulled up intercepted communications between the Federation ships. Their response time was too quick. They arrived within hours of Dr. Chen's breakthrough. They were watching us, waiting for this moment. Waiting for what? Someone asked. For humanity to become a threat to their technological monopoly. Marcus expanded the display, showing economic data from dozens of Federation worlds. Look at the pattern. Every time a new species develops a revolutionary technology, the Federation appears with their guidelines and protocols. Within a few years, that species' innovation rate drops dramatically. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They're not advancing technology, Marcus continued. They're controlling it, maintaining their position at the top of the galactic hierarchy. So what do we do? President Okafor asked, her hologram leaning forward. We can't match their military might. Marcus's smile widened slightly. We don't have to. While they've been busy trying to intimidate Dr. Chen, I've been making some interesting connections. He brought up another display, showing communications with various non-Federation species. We're not the first civilization they've tried to suppress. We're just the first to see it coming. He explained his plan, watching as understanding dawned on their faces. It was audacious, perhaps even dangerous, but it played to humanity's greatest strengths: innovation, adaptation, and the ability to unite against a common threat. Meanwhile, in Singapore, Dr. Chen was reaching the limits of even her extensive knowledge of quantum mechanics. The Federation Council members had moved from discomfort to obvious agitation. This is unnecessary, the crystalline being interrupted. You will cease development of this technology. That is final. Sarah straightened, her exhaustion forgotten as anger flared. Or what? You'll force us. If necessary. The Federation has methods of ensuring compliance. Interesting choice of words, a new voice said. Marcus Reed stepped into the laboratory, his presence somehow filling the room despite his average height. Methods of ensuring compliance. Would those be the same methods you used on the Arcturus Collective? Or perhaps the Vega Alliance? The council members froze, the bioluminescent gas being pulsed rapidly, its colors shifting to deep reds and purples. How do you know those names? Marcus held up a data crystal. Amazing what you can learn when you start asking the right questions. Did you know the Arcturus Collective had developed clean fusion power before you arrived? Or that the Vega Alliance was on the verge of creating self-repairing biotechnology? He walked to stand beside Sarah. Both civilizations are now dependent on Federation technology, their own innovation programs shut down for safety reasons. a pattern that repeats across your territory. You don't understand the complexities. The crystalline being began. Oh, but we do, Marcus interrupted. We understand perfectly, and unlike those other civilizations, we've prepared for this moment. He activated a holographic display, showing hundreds of quantum processors identical to Sarah's prototype, already distributed across Earth and its colonies. Impossible, one of the council members whispered. A lesson about humanity, Marcus said quietly. We don't respond well to threats. While you were here trying to suppress one breakthrough, we were busy making sure it couldn't be contained. Dr. Chen's design has already been shared with every major research institution on Earth. You can't put this genie back in the bottle. The council members conferred hurriedly in their own language, their agitation obvious. When they turned back, their earlier condescension had been replaced by something closer to fear. This is unprecedented, the crystalline being said. The Federation Council will need to convene. Yes, Marcus agreed. They will. And when they do, they'll find that Earth isn't coming alone. The Arcturus Collective, the Vega Alliance, and several other suppressed civilizations are very interested in discussing the Federation's methods of compliance. As the council members departed in barely concealed panic, Sarah turned to Marcus. We're playing a dangerous game. The game was already dangerous, he replied, watching the Federation ship begin its ascent. We're just changing the rules. In orbit, the Federation ships hum like artificial stars against the black of space, but now they seemed less like harbingers of advanced civilization and more like what they truly were, tools of control and suppression. And humanity had just thrown a wrench into their well-oiled machine. The Arcturus Collective's secret meeting chamber defied human architectural expectations. Curved walls seemed to bend light itself, while the air shimmered with particles that might have been technological or biological. It was impossible to tell. Marcus Reed sat at a table that appeared to be made of living crystal, facing representatives from 6 different species that the Federation had tried to suppress. The Arcturian leader, a being of pure energy contained within an intricate mechanical frame, spoke first. You understand the risk you take by being here. The Federation monitors all official interstellar travel. That's why we didn't travel officially, Marcus replied, thinking of the experimental quantum tunneling drive that had brought him here, another of Dr. Chen's impossible breakthroughs. And why this meeting doesn't exist. Around the table, the representatives shifted. The vegan delegate, a serpentine creature with iridescent scales, moved forward. We've reviewed the evidence you provided. The Federation's pattern of technological suppression is disturbing. More than disturbing, added a representative from the Sirius Enclave, their holographic form flickering with emotion. They've been systematically preventing our species from achieving their full potential. The question is, what can we do about it? Marcus activated a holographic display, showing a complex network of connections. The Federation's power relies on 3 pillars: technological control, economic dominance, and the isolation of potential rivals. We're here to knock down all 3. He gestured, and the display focused on Dr. Chen's quantum processor design. Earth is already mass-producing these units. We're prepared to share the technology with everyone in this room. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices and electromagnetic pulses of surprise. The Federation's greatest fear was being realized: unrestricted technological exchange between developing civilizations. But that's only the beginning, Marcus continued once the chamber quieted. We've also identified the Federation's economic weak points. Their entire system relies on controlled scarcity, keeping advanced technology in the hands of a few, while forcing everyone else to depend on their generosity. The Arcturian leader's energy form pulsed thoughtfully. The Federation's council meets in 3 standard cycles to discuss the Earth situation. They will try to make an example of your species. Let them try, Marcus smiled, because that meeting isn't going to go the way they expect. Each of you has suffered under their system. Each of you has hidden away forbidden research, suppressed innovations, kept secret the true potential of your people. We're not asking you to rebel. We're offering you a chance to reclaim what was taken from you. A new figure entered the chamber, Dr. Chen, her image projected through the quantum network she'd helped create. "We've analyzed the Federation's technological systems," she said without preamble. "They're advanced, yes, but they're also stagnant. They haven't made a major breakthrough in over 3 centuries. They don't innovate anymore. They just maintain their advantage through suppression." She brought up complex technical schematics. "But look what happens when we combine Earth's quantum processing with Arcturian energy manipulation, vegan biotechnology, and Syrian photonic computing. The potential is revolutionary." The Syrian representative finished, their holographic form brightening with excitement. The vegan delegate's scales shifted color. "The Federation will respond with force." "They'll try," Marcus agreed, "but they've made a crucial mistake. They've spent so long suppressing individual civilizations that they've forgotten what happens when species work together. Every technology they've suppressed, every innovation they've buried. We're going to bring it all into the light." He stood, looking at each representative in turn. "The Federation thinks they're facing one upstart species that needs to be put in its place. By the time they realize what's really happening, it'll be too late. The question is, are you with us?" The chamber was silent for a long moment. Then the Arcturian leader's energy form flared brightly. "The Arcturus Collective stands with Earth." One by one, the other representatives declared their support. As they began discussing specific plans, Marcus received an urgent message through his neural link. Federation ships had been detected moving toward Earth in unprecedented numbers. Dr. Chen's projection looked at him with concern. "They're moving faster than we anticipated." "No," Marcus replied quietly, watching the alliances form around him. "They're moving exactly as fast as we need them to. Everything is proceeding according to plan." Back on Earth, in laboratories and research centers across the planet, humans worked alongside newly arrived alien scientists, combining technologies that the Federation had tried to keep separate for centuries. The quantum network hummed with activity, connecting minds and machines across light years. The Federation was about to learn a harsh lesson. Trying to contain humanity didn't just fail, it created something far more dangerous. A unified front of species determined to break free from their control. And the storm was just beginning. The Federation Council chamber was a monument to power. Towering crystalline spires rose hundreds of meters into the artificial atmosphere of the station, their surfaces displaying the achievements of the Federation's founding species. Marcus Reed noticed that these displays conspicuously omitted any mentions of the civilizations they'd suppressed. The chamber was packed. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds filled the tiered seating, all gathered to witness Earth's formal censure. The Federation's fleet hung in space around the station, a not-so-subtle reminder of their military might. At the center of it all stood Marcus Reed, apparently alone. The Federation's High Council looked down at him from their elevated positions, their various forms radiating smugness and certainty. "Humanity," the first speaker began, their crystalline form refracting light dramatically. "You stand accused of unauthorized technological development, illegal sharing of restricted innovations, and inciting unrest among Federation member worlds. How do you respond?" Marcus smiled. It wasn't the reaction they expected. "Before I respond, I have a question. When exactly did progress become a crime?" Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The first speaker's crystal facets flickered with annoyance. "You mistake the issue. The Federation maintains order." "Through suppression," Marcus interrupted. "Through forcing developing civilizations to abandon their innovations. Through making them dependent on your technology." He paused. "But today isn't about humanity's response to your accusations. It's about your response to ours." The chamber's lighting shifted as Dr. Chen's image appeared, projected simultaneously to every being present through their neural interfaces or equivalent systems. "Allow me to present evidence of systematic technological suppression spanning 3 centuries." Before the Council could object, The chamber was filled with holographic displays. Each showed a different civilization's breakthrough moment, and the Federation's subsequent intervention to shut it down. The Arcturus Collective's clean fusion technology, Dr. Chen narrated. The Vegan Alliance's biotechnology revolution. The Syrian Enclave's photonic computing advances. All suppressed, all buried, all to maintain your power. The first speaker rose. This is outrageous. Guards are busy, Marcus interjected calmly. In fact, this entire station is currently under the control of a rather fascinating combination of Earth's quantum processing, Arcturian energy manipulation, and Syrian photonic computing. Your security systems now answer to us. As if to prove his point, new figures began appearing throughout the chamber, representatives from every civilization the Federation had suppressed, their images transmitted through the quantum network. You see, Marcus continued, while you were preparing to make an example of Earth, we were busy building something you forgot was possible. Genuine cooperation between species. Real innovation, unrestricted by your controls. The chamber erupted in chaos. Federation councilors demanded order while representatives from younger civilizations began shouting questions. Through it all, Marcus stood calmly at the center. This is sedition, the first speaker declared. Our fleet will. Your fleet is currently experiencing some interesting technical difficulties. Dr. Chen interrupted. It seems their advanced systems are quite vulnerable to certain quantum-based algorithms. They're perfectly safe, but temporarily indisposed. Marcus stepped forward. Here's what's going to happen. The evidence of your systematic suppression is being transmitted to every world in Federation space. Every civilization is learning how you've kept them dependent and controlled. But we're also sharing something else, the combined technological innovations of Earth and our allies. He gestured, and new holographic displays appeared, showing the results of their collaborative research. Clean energy, advanced medical technology, quantum communication networks, all the innovations you tried to suppress, refined, and improve through cooperation. The first speaker's crystalline form was practically vibrating with rage. You cannot simply. We already have, Marcus stated. The question isn't whether this change is happening. It's whether the Federation will adapt or become obsolete. From the upper tiers of the chamber, a representative of one of the younger Federation worlds stood. I move for an immediate review of Federation technological restrictions. Another stood. I second the motion. More representatives began standing, calling for investigations, reforms, changes to the system. The Federation's carefully maintained order was crumbling in real time. The first speaker made one last attempt. The stability of the galaxy will be stronger than ever, Marcus interrupted. Innovation driven by cooperation rather than competition. Progress through collaboration instead of control. That's the future we're offering. He turned to address the entire chamber. The Federation can join us in building this future, or it can fade into history as another empire that tried to stop progress and failed. The choice is yours. As the chamber erupted in debate, Marcus received a private message from Dr. Chen. Fleet systems are beginning to come back online. They'll have weapons control in 10 minutes. Marcus sent back a one-word response. Perfect. The Federation was about to discover that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to turn enemies into allies, to find strength in diversity, and to face impossible odds with unwavering determination. The next few minutes would determine whether the galaxy embraced a new age of cooperation or descended into conflict. And humanity was ready for either outcome. 1 year after the confrontation at the Federation Council chamber, the galaxy looked very different. The massive space station orbiting Earth's moon stood as a symbol of this change, a collaborative project combining architectural styles and technologies from 24 species. Within its crystalline halls, Marcus Reed walked alongside Dr. Chen, preparing for the first meeting of the Galactic Innovation Council. Hard to believe it's only been a year, Sarah said, watching ships from across the galaxy dock at the station. Each vessel represented a different approach to space travel, some using technologies that had been forbidden just months ago. "Harder to believe how close we came to war," Marcus replied, remembering those tense minutes after the Federation fleet regained weapons control. If the Arcturus Collective hadn't chosen that moment to reveal their entire defense fleet, along with the Vegans' bioships and the Syrians' stealth armada, Sarah added, the Federation never imagined their suppressed species had managed to hide so much. They entered the council chamber, a stark contrast to the old Federation hall. Instead of rising tiers emphasizing hierarchy, this room was arranged in concentric circles, with no position elevated above others. Representatives from over 50 species were already seated, their conversations creating a symphony of different communication methods: spoken words, light patterns, electromagnetic pulses, and quantum signals, all translated seamlessly through the new universal interfaces. The former first speaker of the Federation sat in the outer circle, their crystalline form notably dimmer than before. The Federation hadn't fallen, but its power had been fundamentally transformed. Now it was just one voice among many in the new galactic community. Marcus took his position as Earth's representative, while Sarah moved to join the Scientific Advisory Board. The chamber quieted as the session began. The first item on the agenda: reviewing proposals for combining technologies that had previously been kept separate. A young Arcturian scientist presented a fusion drive incorporating vegan biological components and Earth's quantum control systems. A Syrian engineer demonstrated a new form of instant communication using principles from 3 different species research. With each presentation, the old Federation representatives looked increasingly uncomfortable as their worst fears were realized. Unrestricted innovation was producing advances they had never imagined possible. During a break in the presentations, an ambassador from one of the formerly suppressed worlds approached Marcus. "We were wrong about humans," they said, their translator converting musical tones into words. "We thought your species would use our alliance to become the new Federation, controlling rather than sharing power." Marcus smiled. That would have been the easy path. But humanity learned long ago that real strength comes from diversity, not uniformity. The galaxy is too big, too complex for any one species to have all the answers. Sarah joined them, adding, "Besides, look at what we've achieved in just 1 year of true cooperation. The medical breakthroughs alone have saved millions of lives across dozens of worlds." The chamber reconvened for the afternoon session. Marcus watched as representatives from formerly hostile species worked together, sharing ideas and building on each other's innovations. The old Federation's nightmare of unrestricted technological exchange had become reality, and instead of chaos, it had brought unprecedented progress. An alert flashed across his neural interface, another breakthrough from one of the joint research teams. This one combining Syrian quantum tunneling with vegan organic computing and Earth's AI systems. The possibilities it suggested were staggering. "We're going to need to update the transportation infrastructure again," Sarah noted, reviewing the data. "This could make conventional spaceways obsolete within a decade." "Change is the only constant now," Marcus replied. "Exactly as it should be." As the session continued, news arrived from across the galaxy. New alliances forming, joint ventures launching, ancient rivalries giving way to cooperation. The Federation's age of control was over. In its place, a new era had begun, one where innovation and collaboration drove progress, where different species built on each other's strengths instead of fearing their differences. The final presentation of the day came from a joint team of human and alien scientists. They proposed an expedition beyond the galaxy's edge, using technologies that would have been forbidden just a year ago. As Marcus listened to their plans, he couldn't help but smile. The Federation had tried to contain humanity's spirit of exploration and innovation. Instead, they had helped spread it across the stars. In Earth's quantum research labs, new generations of scientists worked alongside alien colleagues, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. In space stations and colonies throughout the galaxy, species that had once been kept apart now shared knowledge and resources freely. And in the great void between the stars, ships of all designs carried the combined wisdom and creativity of 1,000 worlds to new frontiers. The age of suppression was over. The age of exploration had begun. And humanity, the species that had refused to be contained, now stood not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals in a galaxy awakening to its true potential. As the council session ended, Marcus received a message from the Arcturus Collective. They had detected signals from another galaxy, signs of civilizations beyond anything they had known. Once, such a discovery would have been suppressed. Now, it was met with excitement and curiosity. "Ready for another adventure?" Sarah asked, noting his expression. Marcus looked out at the stars visible through the station's crystal walls. "Always. The real question is the universe ready for all of us working together?" The answer was already writing itself across the galaxy, one breakthrough at a time.